Good evening. Thank you for joining us today. Happy 2023. We at XENO, we're very excited to host this first webinar at the beginning of the year. And this time we're actually going to focus more on group investments. And why groups anyway? Why do we have to come together and invest together? So today XENO has two interesting panelists that we're going to be having a chat with. And our topic today is getting it right. And getting it right in what sense? We are yet to see, and we're yet to actually discover that there's quite a lot that we need to learn on how groups and SACCOs, investment groups, are actually set up. And our topic today is getting it right for both investment groups and SACCOs. What are we doing well? What aren't we doing very well? All these are things that we're going to look at today. And I'd like to welcome each one of you that has taken off time to actually be with us this evening. I'm very honored to be in the presence of Mr. Martin Muwhezi, who is one of our guests today, and he's going to be telling us more about how investment groups are set up. What are we doing right? What aren't we doing very well? And Martin is actually an author of a very beautiful book that is yet to be launched, and it's called
Count Me In.
Counting?
Count Me In.
Count Me In, yes. It's called Count Me In. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Yes, so he's a book author. It's yet to come out, and we'll be giving you more details about that. And yes, he's also part of the Uganda Investment Club.
Investment Clubs Association of Uganda.
Yes. Yeah. So Martin is over here with me. We are actually seated at the XENO offices. And with us also online, we've been joined by Dr. Sylvester. And he is the CEO of the Uganda Cooperative Savings and Credit Union. He has 2 decades of experience in managing SACCOs. So we really have very, very amazing speakers that are going to tell us a lot about saving in groups. And here we are looking at mainly SACCOs and investment groups. So as we start this call, I would like to just go ahead and encourage all our listeners that are on the Zoom call today. What are those things that you're looking out to improve and boost your financial health in 2023? Kindly get into our inbox and let us know about those different goals. But besides that, let's get to hear from our speakers. Martin, what are those things you're looking at doing this year?
Well, first of all, I'm excited to be here. It's a pleasure to be here, and Happy New Year to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, most people start the new year with all these goals and things that they feel they're going to achieve throughout the year. So over the years, I've learned that a goal should be something that is realistic and measurable and smart. And so I make a goal that I can easily achieve so that it gives me the momentum to move over to a higher goal. So this year, my personal financial goals include, of course, increasing my investment portfolio, specifically looking at an increase in passive income opportunities and depending less on working income and moving to passive income. So those are my goals. I won't go into the details for obvious reasons, but yeah.
Interesting. And yes, Dr. Sylvester, what are those things you're looking at improving this year in 2023? And as our viewers and participants are also letting us know in the chat room, we'll come to those as well and have a look at what you're looking at, boosting your financial wellness in 2023. Dr. Sylvester.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much, listeners. I am Dr. Sylvester Ndiroramukama, and I'm the Chief Executive Officer for Uganda Cooperative Savings and Credit Union, briefly UCUSCU, which is the national apex of SACCOs in Uganda. Of course, each and every individual has a goal, a vision to achieve. And at a personal level, there are a number of written things that I have put on paper, which I want to achieve as a family. And of course, given the fact that I'm now going to level 5, I need to prepare and secure my future. But also for the sector, there is a lot that we are planning for our members who are the SACCOs. And of course, we know that for SACCOs, the major prime objective is members' welfare. So we are looking at how and the means how our members, the SACCOs, can meet their vision to make sure that members benefit from the welfare services that they offer. Maybe for now, thank you. I hand over back to you. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Sylvester. So we're just going to get in right now. What are the key differences between SACCOs and investment groups? Because every time you hear someone saying, I'm in a SACCO, provided they are saving and borrowing, they assume it's a SACCO. Even when we at home, me and a few friends, if we want to pull money together, we call it an investment group. What is the difference? And I would like to start with you, Martin, to just give us the distinction of what forms an investment group.
Okay. So there are different savings groups, and I highlight them in my book. So what a SACCO is a savings and credit cooperative. So it's an acronym for Savings and Credit Cooperative Organization. So what a SACCO does in terms of functionality is that it gets members' savings, pulls them together, and then that fund is what is used as a loan fund to lend out to the members. Whereas an investment club is a group of people that come together to pool their savings together into an investment fund. So the funds are used for long-term investments. So in terms of functionality, that is the difference between the SACCOs. However, there's also a difference in terms of registration or setup. SACCOs are established through the Cooperatives Act. So it is the Cooperatives Act of Parliament through which SACCOs are established, whereas investment clubs are not yet legal entities, so they are kind of informal groups where people can save together and invest together. So I'll end there for the two primary differences between a SACCO and an investment club.
And yes, Dr. Sylvester, kindly give us the distinctions that form a SACCO. And what are those key differences that are actually there between a SACCO and those features? What makes a SACCO? And just kindly help us. We want to try and differentiate between a SACCO and an investment group, but we would like you to really focus more.
Thank you so much, because I know my colleague has already talked about the investment clubs. I will say that a SACCO is a member-owned cooperative and which is democratically controlled by its members, and it is operated for the purpose of maximizing the economic benefits of members. Of course, these members come together with an aim of enjoying services and products at a competitive rate. And this is why, in most cases, when members come together to form a SACCO, they make their own decisions on one, how to price the services and products of this SACCO. Then two, we normally say that a SACCO is member-owned, member-controlled, member-used, and member-benefited. The prime objective of a SACCO, by the way, is on members' welfare. Investments come in as a by the way, but the main objective of members and forming a SACCO is members' welfare. Of course, my colleague has already talked about the formality. A SACCO is registered by the registrar of cooperatives, and the minimum number required for you to start a SACCO is 30 members, and you make some contributions in the form of shares. You also save, you also pay for membership fees or what we call entrance fees. And thereafter, even before you are registered, you are supposed to form what we call the interim leadership, the governance organ, which must have at least the chairperson, the vice, the treasurer, secretary, and board members. After you have gotten your registration certificate from the registrar of cooperatives, then you do what we call the first annual general meeting, where you can confirm the leadership and or you can elect new leaders to manage the affairs of the SACCO. Thank you.
So much, Doctor. So getting back to you, Martin.
Yes.
How do investment clubs define success for their members?
Okay. So because it's a group of people coming to save and invest together, one of the definitions of success is financial growth or economic growth. So members come into the group expecting that their savings are going to take them a longer way, a longer distance than if they were to have those savings by themselves and used by themselves or invested by themselves. So one of the benefits that members in an investment club get is the collective power of savings pulled into a fund and being used to invest in larger and bigger projects so that the members can get better returns. Another benefit is what I would call social capital or networking. Members are able to interact with other different members and different other opportunities may arise outside the investment club. A case in point, I am part of an investment club. I want to build my house and voila, one of the members is an architect. So because he's part of the group, I'm able to get a discount and get different other benefits for my own personal gain. So those are some of the successes and the benefits that members can get. There's also one that is quite silent but very important, is intellectual capital. We always encourage investment clubs that on top of just receiving people's money, it's always important to invite guest speakers, invite facilitators to come and give you information, knowledge, not only in areas of finance and investment and business, but also areas in personal development. Because guess what? As investment club members, each of you makes a decision towards the growth of the capital that you are putting together. So it's important that you all grow at the same level so that when decisions are being made, each of you is making decisions from an informed perspective. So there's growth also in terms of someone's intellectual capital. So those are some of the successes and benefits that members can get, to mention but a few. But more in my book.
Oh, okay. We can't wait to have that book actually released.
Yes.
We'll be very excited to maybe be invited at the book launch.
Yes.
We look forward to actually encouraging most
coming up.
Most of our investors and groups that are investing with us. I think the book will be a very amazing addition for them to actually learn most of these things.
Yes.
And over to you, Dr. Sylvester. How are SACCOs actually defining success for members that are part of them?
Okay, thank you so much. I will say that because SACCOs are member controlled, it's the members that participate in the leadership of these institutions. For example, the chairperson, the treasurer, the secretary, board members are elected from within the membership. You don't have to get somebody from another sphere to come and be a leader of a SACCO. Secondly, of course, we know that we have about two categories of SACCOs. We have what we call community-based SACCOs that are mostly in the rural areas. And then we also have what we would call the institutional-based SACCOs, which are formed, for example, from XENO. You can form a SACCO and you leverage on the services from your mother company, XENO Investments. But for community-based SACCOs, of course, you know the challenges associated. Of course, the monies that are generated remain within the community. For example, after they have done their transactions at the end of the year, if they have made a surplus, this surplus is shared in form of dividends and it remains within the communities. Then two, there is what we call members benefiting from the loans. I know, and of course we know that sometimes for SACCOs, they don't use collateral in most cases because many of these community-based SACCOs, it's hard to get collateral. And many of them are able to access these services using what we call peer guaranteeing. So that is a benefit to them. And of recent, we are seeing the SACCO business model being championed, one, by the government, policymakers, which to me and others brings an idea that the SACCO business model can help communities address their challenges and eliminate poverty or reduce poverty. Maybe for now, I stop here. Thank you.
All right, Doctor, before you go, we would like to actually get a bit of more detail on how the union, the SACCO union is actually supporting SACCOs.
Okay, thank you so much. As I said, UKUSCU is the national apex of SACCOs in Uganda. It was formed in 1972, and its members are basically the primary cooperative societies, which are financial in nature, or what we call SACCOs, the savings and credit cooperative organizations. And our core mandate is to organize and strengthen the SACCO sector in Uganda. And SACCOs believe that what we need to address or intervene in as a union, we have so many areas, but I dwell myself on only about 3. One of them is education and training. Education and training for the members to know their roles, their obligations, how to access loans, how to pay loans or loan management. Then for the board, also to know their roles, responsibilities, how to serve members, how to take decisions, strategic planning. For staff, the same. So we have developed modules over the years, which are directed to board members for the leadership. We have also modules for management staff, and then also modules for the members, more especially under the financial literacy, business skills development, strategic planning, credit management, etc., etc. The other intervention that we do is the lobby and advocacy. We know that these SACCOs have issues that might affect their growth. One of the issues outstanding which we engaged the government on was the taxation of SACCOs under the income tax. And we were able to get a 10-year tax exemption for all SACCOs from 2017. So now SACCOs are enjoying a tax exemption of 30% income, from their incomes. And then also with the coming in of the regulations, we engage the regulators. We have for now the Bank of Uganda. We have Uganda Microfinance Regulatory Authority. So we normally engage them to make sure that the regulations that are coming on board do not stifle the growth of SACCOs, but strengthen their growth. We also have areas of technical assistance where we support SACCOs to come up with strategic planning, to come up with policies, procedure manuals that are going to guide their operations. And because some of the SACCOs are also facing a challenge of liquidity, we also have in-house the central finance facility where we can access, we can have our SACCOs access liquid funds during times of need without requiring them to provide collateral. And also, of course, in terms of improving record management, we have developed other products. For example, the UKUSCU core banking system, which is going to help these SACCOs to have timely and accurate records. Remember, in the current regulations, there is a section that is providing that a SACCO is supposed to provide a report by every 15th of a month. And should there be a delay, a penalty of 200, I think, current points are supposed to be paid. So in order to address such challenges, as a union, we have come up with some solutions or services and products that can help SACCOs to comply with such regulations, and at the same time, serve their members effectively. Thank you for now.
All right, thank you so much for that elaborate explanation. And back to you, Martin. How is the Uganda Investment Association supporting investment groups to actually become successful? What are those things that the association is actually bringing on table to support investment groups?
Good question. ICAO, which is the Investment Clubs Association of Uganda, was started in about 2013, 2014, if my memory serves me right. And it was a concerted effort between the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development and a project at that time called KICS, which was Competitive Investment Climate Strategies, a unit under Ministry of Finance. And one of their mandates was to increase competitiveness in the economy. And they felt that by catalyzing these investment clubs to be able to grow, it will be an opportunity to build our economy inside out, as opposed to looking for resources from outside. What they said is that the resources are actually within, and if they are mobilized well in a very structured way, we can be able to sustain our economy. So Investment Clubs Association of Uganda is a membership body for all investment clubs in Uganda. It's an umbrella body. And anyone who owns or runs an investment club is free to sign up. If you go to their website, icao.co.ug, you're able to get more information about the membership requirements and the benefits. However, I'll highlight some of them. The first one, of course, which is obvious and usually is the main opportunity for associations, is the networking opportunity. No man can grow alone. So this gives a platform for different investment clubs to come together, to share ideas, to listen to testimonials, and to encourage and grow each other on this journey so that they're able to achieve their financial and investment goals. The second opportunity, of course, is capacity building. Usually we hold a number of trainings and sessions where we bring in guest speakers and people to come and equip these members with the knowledge that is needed and necessary for them to be able to grow their investment funds sustainably over the future. The third one is that the Investment Clubs Association of Uganda is a lobbying platform for investment clubs in Uganda. And there are quite a number of initiatives that have been set up because of ICAO and improving and the publicity and the presence of investment clubs in Uganda. So those are a few of the benefits if somebody is to join Investment Clubs Association of Uganda that they can be able to benefit from.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you so much. So there was a report that was published in the Independent in 2021, and this showed that 64 out of 453 registered SACCOs in Uganda have collapsed. And while 312 of these are struggling due to fraud and poor governance, among other challenges that SACCOs face. Why is it that only a minority of these SACCOs are actually successful? We'd really love to weigh into this and get to know why SACCOs and investment groups are not able to scale up their investment portfolios, and why aren't they able to create value for their members? And hence also this leads to a bit of failure. So Dr. Sylvester, would like you to just weigh in onto this. Why are some SACCOs struggling? And a few of those, just 64 out of the 453 failed. What really brings this, or what causes this failure? Would just like to learn from your experience, given that you have 2 decades of experience in managing and developing of SACCOs.
Okay, thank you so much. I would say that some SACCOs are formed because of politics, and some are formed with ulterior purposes. And in most cases, of course, when you also look at the period of elections, you'll see, and even if you check with the registrar of cooperatives, he will tell you that during the period of elections, many people come in to form SACCOs because maybe the perception is that when they form SACCOs, maybe they will be able to benefit from government support. And that is one of the reasons why many of these SACCOs that form without members' involvement fail at one time. Then the second issue is the lack of strategic direction. Many of these SACCOs, of course, when they are formed, they are formed for purposes of benefiting from government, and others do not even go ahead to come up with a strategy on how they are going to sustain their performance, on how they are going to recruit and have staff in place. And this affects them in a way. The second issue, of course, is fraud. We have seen many SACCOs where management collide with the board members and defraud big sums of monies from SACCOs. And of course, in the previous years, before we had what we call the regulations or the regulator, it was very rampant. And in every newspaper, you would find a story about fraud issues in SACCOs. But with the coming in now of the regulator and the Uganda Microfinance Regulatory Authority, and then also strengthening the capacities under Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives, we are seeing the same reducing. There are issues to do with the governance and management issues. Of course, many people come with personal interests. Remember, when you come on board, it is voluntary. You are only given a reimbursement of what you have incurred. You are not given a salary as a leader. But of course, many of these leaders, sometimes when they come on board, their expectations are high. They think that maybe this is a time for them to eat and enjoy. The other issue, which is also a big issue, is the high delinquency rates or default rates in SACCOs. And many, of course, of these SACCOs are not able to do what we call provisioning. Day by day, year by year, they end up overstating their profits when the same was eroded by the provision for bad debts and delinquent rates. And of course, when a SACCO is facing a challenge of default, then the issue of liquidity comes in. And with a SACCO, and I think even investment clubs, when a member comes to withdraw his or her saving, and that saving is not there, then word spreads to everyone that the SACCO has collapsed. And this causes a rush for members to come and withdraw their savings. So those are some of the issues that are affecting some challenges in some SACCOs. But on a good note, I can say that of recent, we are seeing a good performance in terms of success rates in SACCOs. And I think I can attribute this to many of the SACCOs are now aware that the SACCO business model is good and can help SACCOs and communities to reduce poverty. The involvement of government in terms of also maintaining their message about savings mobilization. You know, originally the message was not harmonized. Others would say form a SACCO, get money. But I think today the message has changed from the policymakers and other practitioners. The message now is form a SACCO, save and borrow. If you need government support, the government can support you. And this has helped the growth and success of the SACCO sector in Uganda. We hope in the next 10 years, if you look at the volumes in terms of asset base, it will more than triple. Thank you.
You, Martin, what have been your observations on the failures of investment groups and what usually causes all these failures amongst investment clubs?
Okay, yeah. Like everything that is surrounded by money, there are failures because money is a language. In investment clubs, I would say that the common thread or strand amidst all the challenges and failures of investment clubs is one thing called group dynamics. So this is something that is overlooked. So when an investment club is starting, you have a group of people who are excited. They come together, they say, yes, we're going to put this money aside and we're going to grow, we're going to make money, we're going to be rich. And you know, the excitement is so high. You're either a group of old friends or old students who are in school together and you've come together to try and see if you can create some economic benefits for each one of you. But then after 3 to 6 months, that energy dies out. Because members start realizing that this contribution that you're making, you have to make it consistently every month. And you find some members saying that, you know what? I didn't know what I signed up for. It's time for me to jump out. I can no longer meet the expectations of this club. And that there is an issue with group dynamics. So the leaders in all the investment clubs should be very intentional to ensure that members create, build, and sustain the chemistry within themselves. It is only by them working together as a team that they'll be able to achieve more, not the leader doing all the work. In one of the investment clubs I was a part of, I happened to be the secretary, and there was a chairman and a treasurer. But we ended up doing all the heavyweight lifting. People would come in for the meetings, make their contributions, make their accusations, give their points, and just fold their notebooks and walk away and leave it for us to implement. No, that's not how it should work. As the leaders, you should ensure that members are also part and parcel of the activities of the growth of the club. Set up different committees and put members on all these committees. Everyone should play a part. Otherwise, if you leave the burden to a few, then that's where the problem of the group dynamics is faced. And because most investment clubs are passive in nature, you find that they all over a sudden slide into dormancy and finally collapse. So if you had asked me one of the challenges, I would say the biggest challenge is building, creating, and sustaining group dynamics.
Thank you so much, Martin. So I'd like us to just look at a very critical aspect of members, and this is due diligence. What do you have to do as a member before you join a group, before you join a SACCO? What kind of tips do you need to actually know that I need to ensure that this SACCO or investment group that I'm going to be a part of has a very good governance structure? It's going to be transparent. It's not a fraud. So we are here to learn. And Dr. Sylvester, just share with our viewers and listeners about which kind of tips can they use to conduct a very good due diligence on a SACCO to ensure that at least their money is going to be safe. So yeah, go ahead and share with us some of those tips that we need to know or things that we need to do before joining a SACCO, just to be sure we're joining the right SACCO or group.
Okay, thank you so much. These days, there are a lot of options because in every locality, you can find a number of SACCOs available. So one of the issues that you can check is whether this SACCO is formally registered. And as I said, registration of SACCOs are through the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives by the Registrar of Cooperatives. And normally, the registrar advises that if you get a registration certificate, it is always good to hang it where it is easily seen. So if you are a member, before you join any SACCO, check whether this SACCO is duly registered. Then 2, you can also look at some of the requirements which this SACCO requires for a member to join. There are issues to do with the registration fees, issues to do with the share capital, issues to do with the savings either per day, per month, per year. In other words, you look at the conditions that you must fulfill before you join a SACCO. Of course, there are some SACCOs or institutions which charge exorbitant fees for you to join. The other issue is you can also check and find out whether this SACCO is affiliated, for example, to Uganda Cooperative Savings and Credit Union. Why? SACCOs that are affiliated to the union, in most cases, benefit from the advisory services, then benefit from the trainings and support of the union, which implies that in terms of operational performance, they perform better. Then you can also check and find out whether this SACCO is licensed. Today, we have the Uganda Microfinance Regulatory Authority, which is mandated to license all SACCOs with the share capital or institutional capital less than 500 million Uganda shillings, and then voluntary savings less than 1.5 billion Uganda shillings. Then the same law under the Tier 4 Microfinance Institutions and Money Lenders Act provides that any SACCO which has institutional capital in excess of 500 million, it is supposed to get a license from Bank of Uganda, and then also voluntary savings in excess of 1.5 billion. Those are supposed to get a license from Bank of Uganda. Of course, there has been a delay for some of these big SACCOs to be licensed by Bank of Uganda, but the other category under Uganda Microfinance Regulatory Authority, we have many of the SACCOs that are already licensed. Then you also need to look at the caliber of the leaders or the leadership. You can check who the treasurer is, who the chairman is, who the secretary is, for you to be sure that these are people with the good standing. And since the prime objective of a SACCO is members' welfare, you can also ask from some of the members who have already benefited from this SACCO how they appreciate the services of this SACCO, because many of these SACCOs will be able to tell you, many of these members will be able to tell you that SACCO X's services are up to the task, and whereas maybe SACCO B's services are still lacking. And I think those can help a leader, a member, to be able to take a decision before going into a SACCO that is going to defraud him or her. Thank you.
And this goes to Martin. How can investment club members demand for good governance and demand to get the tools to monitor or have access to that information that they're usually not privy to? How do they go about this? And how do you suggest, or what tips are you going to share with our listeners today in regards to demanding for good governance in investment groups?
Thank you, Sharon. Because investment clubs are semi-formally registered, which means that in terms of their registration process, they're just registered as trade names at the Register of Names at the URSB, unlike the SACCOs, which are more formally registered. It's very important for an individual before they join an investment club, one, to know the members in the club personally. So that's what we call character referencing. They should be able to know who is part of this group, how long has this group existed, does this group actually have savings, and are these savings put in a bank account? you won't believe it, there's an investment club that one of my colleagues went to train. And one of the reasons they had called us to talk to them is that their treasurer, who they had been saving and giving the money to for 2 years, had never banked it on the bank account. So one of the members went into the bank to check for the bank balance, and that account had never even existed in the bank. So these are live stories. So members need to be very vigilant. They need to task the leaders who they have appointed into those positions to be transparent. So I always encourage the treasurers of the investment clubs to keep sharing regular member statements showing the members' account balances, and if possible, to share a bank statement that also members can be able to reconcile their member balances with the bank. Then there should always be what we call the annual general meetings, which are held every year. And at these annual general meetings, this is where the treasurer or the finance department comes and shares their financial report, and members are able to ask questions and ask for supporting documentation. Last but not least, it's important to have external auditors as investment clubs, because these are professionals who come from outside and perform a financial audit to show the members what exactly is in the club and what is at stake, and give them advice on how they can improve some of their mechanisms, which leads me to the second issue that members should look out for, which is club governance. In the corporate world, it's called corporate governance, but for investment clubs, we've coined the term club governance. And I have a whole chapter in my book that talks about club governance. A leadership structure should be made. It should be clear. Each person who is appointed should be given particular roles and responsibilities, and they should be accountable to the shareholders, who are the members, who are the people who are saving and putting aside their hard-earned money to be able to grow. So 2 issues that you look out for: character referencing and club governance. Thank you.
All right, interesting. I like that now we are getting into the book that is soon yet to come, but I'm going to give you a minute or two to just tell us, give us a preview of that book, so that all those groups that are out there that are looking at investment and how best to actually scale their investment groups and SACCOs can actually look forward to Martin's upcoming book. So give him a minute or two towards the end of this Zoom call so that he can give us more details. So let's talk about growth. We all invest money or pull this money because we're looking at growing it. It's not just the saving, it's not just the saving and the borrowing, but it's actually growth. So how can SACCOs go ahead and improve on their investment strategies to optimize growth and develop even much more better? So I'd like Dr. Sylvester to just come in here and give us on some of those strategies that SACCOs can actually use to grow their members' investments, and what kind of investment strategies can they look at? Doctor?
Okay, thank you so much. In Uganda, I would say that when you compare it with the other countries like our neighbors in Kenya, the SACCO movement is still growing. And this is characterized by many of the SACCOs not meeting members' demands. For example, in terms of loans, you find that many of our SACCOs are not able to meet the members' loan demands, and therefore poses a limitation for SACCOs to invest. And according to the SACCO business model, you'll find that SACCOs do business with their own members. And this calls for a SACCO to invest its total assets, a portion between 70 to 80% of its total assets to members' loans. In most cases, when you check in the asset register or in the assets of these or financial statements of these SACCOs, you'll find that many of these SACCOs have given loans to their members between 70 to 80% of their total assets, leaving just a balance of about 20%. And many of these SACCOs will invest this in money markets, like the fixed deposits. Others can take them into long-term investments, like buying shares. For example, here in Uganda, SACCOs can buy shares from insurance companies. There are insurance companies that are giving an opportunity for SACCOs to invest, like the CIC Africa Uganda Limited. We also have other corporate organizations that allow SACCOs to invest. Recently, we had MTN and others. But of late, some of our SACCOs, especially around Kampala, are investing in land. And this, they are investing it in twofold. One, land as a product for their members. And then also two, land as an investment. And many of these SACCOs have really got some surplus out of this investment. But also, we have seen a few SACCOs that have started what we call a special purpose vehicle or an investment arm for the SACCO, because we know that there are limitations according to the regulations on how SACCOs can invest. And for these SACCOs that are doing so, I know about 2 or 3 SACCOs that have started a separate legal entity to do business on behalf of the SACCO, but being solely owned by a SACCO. These are some of the few options that are available for SACCOs to invest. And of course, as I said, the limitation is that even when you opt for other investment options, still members will be crying and saying they are not yet satisfied with the level of services and products. Remember, for the SACCOs, they will even tell you that instead of increasing and investing in other options, you would rather reduce the interest on loans so that they are able to benefit. You would rather increase the loan amount. If, for example, the maximum loan amount has been, say, 300 million, they will tell you, instead of investing in this, why can't you increase the loan amount from 300 million to 1 billion? So that poses a limitation to many of our SACCOs in Uganda. But doing benchmarking from other countries and other regions, there are a number of options, as I mentioned above, which SACCOs can look out to invest so that they increase their growth and sustainability options. Thank you.
Yes, so we'll still go ahead and ask Martin to just share those tips on what kind of investment strategies investment groups can actually undertake to boost their performance and growth. Because we're in a very competitive environment where people are looking at earning a return above inflation. So how do investment groups go ahead to maximize their investment strategies to boost their performance and at least grow their investments above inflation?
Great. Thank you, Sharon. Before we go into investment strategies, it's very important to understand the profile of your members, because unless the members understand the investment they are going into, it's not recommended for the leadership to lead the members into something they don't know. So understanding comes before strategy. I'll share an example of a group of medical doctors that I went to present to. And as I was making my presentation, I kept talking about all these juicy opportunities like treasury bills, treasury bonds, buying property. And they were lost, honestly, because they did not have knowledge or understanding on these investment opportunities. Then one of them at the back shot up his hand and said that, look here, what you're telling us is good. It sounds good. But look, we are medical doctors. We work 12 to 14 hours a day. We don't have time. We even don't have the capacity to understand these things and learn them when we're adults. But can't we do something that we know? I mean, then he said, for me, I run a pharmacy and I'm looking for additional capital to expand my pharmacy and have outlets across town. And that's when the light bulb moment hit for me. I'm like, look here, these guys have an opportunity within them. They have the capital. Why can't they set up these pharmacies? So the truth be told is that they went ahead and invested in that person's business, and they were able to scale up and have over 4 different pharmacies that are running across this city. So the strategy comes back down to the members. The members have to own it, and that comes back to the vision. You need to have the right vision that is common and shared among all the members. Then you can now start moving into the strategy, which is going to lead you to the vision for your club. But that said, we also encourage investment clubs that you should be able to diversify. Do not put all your eggs in one basket. Spread your capital in different asset classes. And I'm sure you can get more information about that from XENO, because they are the experts in doing that. They can be able to help you with diversification and to be able to spread your risk and not put all your eggs into one basket. Lastly, before you think about investing, ask yourself the question, what is the finishing line? What is the return I'm looking for? In one of the investment clubs I'm in, the minimum return on investment we look for any investment is 30%. If anything is not giving us below 30%, we don't look at it. But it has taken us time, because we've now been in existence for close to 14 years. Whereas a club that is just starting may look for investments that are giving them 10 to 20 to 30% return. So it comes again to what stage of an investment club are you? Stage of maturity. So if you mix all of those together, you'll be able to come up with a strategy that is owned by the members and that members can be able to drive and achieve the vision of the club.
Thank you, Martin. And I would just like to congratulate you on the book that you've just written, which is Count Me In. Who is the ideal customer? Who is the ideal person that should be looking out to actually have a copy? And what should we expect? At least give us a bit of, at least give us Kasasi before the book is launched.
Yeah. All right.
So that we know who is the ideal person going to be able to benefit from Count Me In, and a bit of a highlight in what to expect in the book, so that we get excited towards the launch. And maybe if you know when the launch date is, please share with us.
Okay, thank you, Sharon. The story behind the story in the book, and this is the book, I can lift it up for people to see. It's called Count Me In, because one of the challenges that people have when they join or before they join an investment club is there's a lot of suspicion. In our country, many people have got burnt by getting into groups and getting into all these kind of associations, etc., and people have run away with their money. But why I'm calling it Count Me In is that it gives the reader tips and tricks on how to start an investment club, how to run an investment club, and how to maintain and have a successful investment club. So we start the journey from what it takes to start an investment club to what it takes to run an investment club in terms of operation and administration. And lastly, how to get to the finishing line, which is the vision of the investment club. Most people, when they start an investment club, they are looking at 1 to 2 years. No, an investment club, you should be looking at a minimum of 10 years. In one of the investment clubs I'm in, we agreed from the beginning that once we are joining this, in the first 10 years, we're not removing any money. There's no dividends. There's no profit being shared by our members. Every profit that we make, we're going to keep reinvesting it until we achieve our goal. Our target was to hit a portfolio of at least 1 billion shillings within 10 years. Right now, we're at about 700 million. We haven't gotten there yet. But I can assure you that if we did not have that vision, we wouldn't be near to where we are right now, because it's the vision that keeps us alive and keeps us going. So in the book, I start from the vision and I end with the vision, because it's all about the vision. And the vision needs leadership. So in the middle, I'm talking about corporate governance, club governance. I'm talking about investment opportunities, because people need to understand what is available for their savings to grow. If an investment club is not making money, it is not an investment club, it is a savings club. And I clearly distinguish that and differentiate it. So the book is coming out next month. Yet to have a launch date. Those who are interested, I don't know if the artwork is up already. There's a link that you can use to register, or you can contact me for more details. We are taking pre-orders right now, so that at the book launch, all you're doing is coming, picking your book, and networking with other like-minded people to see how you can be able to grow together. Because there's no man on this earth who has ever created wealth on their own. If there's any, kindly let me know. But as far as I'm concerned, it takes numbers, it takes social capital to build financial capital. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Martin. That has been very awesome. Here is the book. I think I'm going to be one of the first people that will get a copy once it's launched. But I would like to just ask Dr. Sylvester, are there any books or any references that people can actually get to learn about how setting up a SACCO can be done? Just to learn, I'm here, I want to set up a SACCO. What are those things I need to tick off? What do I need? I'm told it's very tedious to set up a SACCO, and it's actually pricey as well. Yes. So how do we get to know the costs involved, how a SACCO is registered, and why do you have to go and search for all these signatures all over the place? But just point us to places where we can actually get this information on how to set up a SACCO. Doctor?
Okay, thank you so much. There are a number of books which I may not know offhand, but I will share maybe with you, and then you can share with the colleagues. There are a number of books on governance. There are a number of books on financial management. And at the union level, we are also starting up efforts of having a library where our members can always come, and also the public, and get such information. Of course, I didn't tell you that we are also starting an academy, and this academy is looking at short-term skills, transfer of skills, whereby a member can come for 1 month, 1 week, or 2 months, 3 weeks, 6 months, to gain skills and knowledge in a particular discipline. So we are setting up the library, the computer lab, and the academy to help us have this achieved. But we have modules, which I talked about, which people can always access. Maybe I'll give my contact. I will allow you to give these colleagues my contact, and then also use our website. Our website is www.ukusku.coop, not .ug. I'm going to type it there in our chat room so that members are able also to contact me at their free time. Thank you.
Sorry about that. And the first question that I have here is, what is the ideal number of people that can be a part of an investment group or SACCO? Martin, how many people should set up an investment group?
Wow. Wow, that's an important question. What is the magic number? Yeah. From my trainings, and I've been training SACCOs since 2014, that makes it about 9 years. Investment clubs and SACCOs, I've realized that the sweet spot is between 10 to 20 members. Why? If it's less than 10 members, the mobilization takes longer because you have fewer numbers. Remember, it's a game of numbers. The more people you have on board, putting into the pot, the quicker and faster the pot gets filled. And then if you have more than 20, now you have a challenge of decision making, because now it tips over and now it is very hard to make decisions on which investments to go into. However, both of these two scenarios can be curbed with different strategies. If you have fewer members, what you need to do is have those fewer members increase their monthly contributions, or even have them make lump sum. I know an investment club where they just made a one-off contribution of 30 million shillings per member, and there were 20 members. And with that, they didn't have to wait for 5 years or 7 years to collect that money. And because of that, they were able now to get into investment opportunities. They were able to set up a microfinance. I write about them in my book, which has been very successful and is impacting and transforming lives in the community. But if you have more than 20 people, then now you have to create club governance structures where decision-making is now centered in either committees or particular people, just like in big corporations. If you look at an organization like NSSF, it has quite a very big membership base, but decision-making is centralized at the executive level, at the board level. So there are ways around it, but I think 10 to 20 is a comfortable sweet spot for the number of members that you can have in your club.
And then to Dr. Sylvester, what's the ideal number of members for SACCOs?
Okay, thank you very much. The minimum number, according to the Cooperative Societies Act, is 30. But of course, in the recent amended Cooperative Societies Act, they have put there a special category where the minimum number can be 15 people. But we also know that the power of numbers, or the power of cooperatives, is in numbers. The more the numbers, the more the resources to be mobilized. For example, if you assume, and by the way, I'll just give an example of Wazalendo SACCO. Wazalendo SACCO is an AME SACCO. Because of the numbers, it has well over 73,000 members. Because of that number, it makes them the biggest SACCO in Uganda, because they have well over 500 billions in total assets. So the more the numbers, the better the SACCO, and the stronger the SACCO, the better the services. But of course, the minimum is 30, and then for special category is 15. And I would say that I want to call upon members. If you cannot join a SACCO, join an investment club, because they are all focusing on improving on the savings culture. That is the major reason to why there is a lot of emphasis on the SACCO business model and the savings club model. They are all looking at the culture of savings. Of course, the differences are only in formalities, which can always be worked upon. Thank you, and back to you.
He's talking about what are the pros and cons of having more members in an investment group. So what are the pros and cons? I think you touched that.
Yes, I did.
Maybe let's get to the other question, which says, since an investment group is not a legal entity, how can they go about owning property? Okay,
great. Very important question. A group of people come together, they get excited, they put their money together, and they're like, here we are, we went to the bank, we opened an account, it's in our names, now we want to go and buy land. They meet the landowner, they exchange documents, and they go to the Register of Lands, and there is a problem. The Register of Lands say, we don't know you, you're not a legal entity. You're just ABC Investment Club. So guess what? You have to go back, and you have two options from there. You either register and transform into a limited company, limited by shares or by guarantee, or now you upgrade and change to become a multi-purpose cooperative. Those are the legal entities. Some clubs take the risk of putting the title into two of the executives or the leaders' names, but we all know where that can go. So I don't encourage it. And if there are clubs that are doing that, it is very risky for you to transfer all of your hard-earned savings into two people's names who can easily sell that land off because they have the transfer rights. So those are the two ways to legalize your investment club. You either become a company under the Companies Act or a multipurpose cooperative under the Cooperatives Act.
All right, we have a question here that says, give us a bit of examples on where we can invest. And I think we touched a bit on this. I remember Dr. Sylvester mentioning that there are different ways of investment. He talked about the non-traditional, which that's buying land, owning a business. There is also the traditional way of investment where you're able to invest in financial assets. And you can do this using unit trust funds. XENO runs those. We have 4 unit trust funds. You're able to have access to a money market fund that enables you to invest in short-term lending to both government and banks. That's treasury bills and fixed deposits. We also have the bond fund that invests across East Africa. So you have exposure to Kenya, Tanzania, and Rwanda, not just to invest in Ugandan bonds as an individual, but through the fund, you get all that exposure where you're able to actually go ahead and invest across East Africa. So using a licensed fund manager, and in this case, we're talking about people that have a license from the Capital Markets Authority. Please do not invest your money in funds that are not licensed and regulated. Visit the CMA website. You'll see all the licensed fund managers, and XENO is one of those. And did you know XENO is proudly Ugandan, founded?
Yay.
So support a Ugandan company. Back to you, Doctor, just to share with us those investment opportunities that SACCOs can go ahead and invest in.
Okay. I had already made a mention about the investment options, and I had put a disclaimer that SACCOs do business with their members. And in most cases, their assets totaling up to 70 to 80% are invested in loans to members, which leaves behind a balance of about 20%, which can be invested in a number of investment options, like the money markets, fixed deposits, long-term investments like buying shares. I mentioned about insurance and MTN and others. And then also, many of these SACCOs now are coming up with what they are calling the special purpose vehicles, which are an investment arms of the SACCO. I know Wazalendo SACCO has already formed an investment arm, which is going to deal with investments for Wazalendo SACCO. I know Stedfin SACCO is coming up with an investment arm. And other SACCOs are investing in real estate, especially land. And they are using land as a product and at the same time as an investment for the SACCOs. And since the investments is a new idea in the SACCO sector, many of the SACCOs are going in there cautiously because one, in the sector, we also lack the experts to advise us on the investment options, issues that our colleague talked about on knowing the returns, about the investments. So many of these SACCOs are going into this arena with caution, but a few that have tried are getting a return, which might not be up to what my colleague mentioned, where the minimum they are getting in the investments club is almost 30%. In SACCOs, I think it is slightly less than that, between 10 and 20%. Thank you for now. Back to you.
says, what's the ideal amount and what is a sizable investment that can give you a good return?
Okay, that's a
ideal amounts for each investment member, and what amount of money is sizable enough to give you good returns? Okay,
ideal is relative depending on the age group, two, the status, socioeconomic status of the members. But I always encourage investment club members that you should be able to stretch yourself to contribute an amount that you're very uncomfortable with. That's the only way you're going to achieve or results. If you're a member who is earning 20 million shillings per month and you're an investment club that saves 50,000 shillings a month, really you won't put as much effort and energy as opposed to being part of an investment club that you are saving 10 million shillings per month if you're earning 20 million. So it should be an amount that is a good proportion of the income that you earn, so that you are vested and you are rooted in it to ensure that it grows. So you could start with a small amount, but keep increasing it to something that you feel that this is an amount that I'm stretching myself to. And in that way, you'll be able to grow much faster. The second question was, I'm kind of forgetting.
Okay, so the second question was,
what is a sizable amount? Again, that depends on the investment strategy, but most investment clubs between year 3 to year 7 end up transforming into or getting into real estate investments. And we talk about real estate, I think a comfortable amount is 50 million shillings and above to be able to get a sizable piece of land and have it as an asset for the club. So on the journey between 0 and 50 million, you're really investing in the fixed income securities and the capital markets as you grow your muscle to get into real estate and then later into agriculture or into business.
All right, so I know there's so many questions. We may not be able to answer all of them, but we're going to get all these questions answered, and I'll make sure that we forward most of these answers. But I would just like to take the last question, and it's going to Dr. Sylvester, and it says, how does a multi-purpose cooperative function? Is it just like a SACCO, or what's the difference? Someone has that question. So the question is, multi-purpose cooperative different from a SACCO, or is it the same?
Okay, thank you so much. A SACCO is a financial cooperative dealing specifically in savings and credit as its primary objective. But multi-purpose, as the name goes, is looking at all welfare issues of members, including the financial option, which is the savings and credit. It can do also, it can deal in land, it can deal in marketing crops or buying coffee, etc., etc. In other words, a multi-purpose cooperative society is not limited to only the financial function. Depending on the welfare issues of members, it is able to address all the issues that concern members. Be they be commercial, if, for example, members want land, so the multipurpose SACCO, according to their objects, they are open to also deal in land, unlike the financial cooperatives, which concentrate on savings and credit, or the financial arm of the SACCO. And what we have seen of late, because of the members' welfare, many of the financial cooperatives or SACCOs are transforming into multipurpose cooperative societies. Thank you.
Structure, we're almost getting to the end of our call today. We would like to learn and know how we can get in touch with you, Martin, and Dr. Sylvester as well. Kindly share your details with our viewers and participants on how do they get in touch with you for more support, more knowledge. Looks like the two of you are very knowledgeable for SACCOs and investment groups. So if someone wants to actually go ahead and get in touch with you, how do they reach Martin?
Okay, great. I'm a team leader of a company called Investors Club Limited. We are located in Nakasero, plot 12 Tanan Avenue. And that's where our offices are, and that's where I sit. But in terms of locating me online, my numbers are 0772120384. And yeah, I think that's how you can be able to contact me. And I believe they're sharing some more information in the chat group or on the screen. And those who are interested, again, in purchasing my book, there's a link with which you can register. And there's not much literature out there on investment clubs. So this is a good opportunity for you to learn and have a book to share and grow your members this year, 2023. Thank you.
Dr. Sylvester, how do we get in touch with you?
Yes, as I said, I sit at Uganda Cooperative Savings and Credit Union, plot 213, Maganjo. And I head the Uganda Cooperative Savings and Credit Union, Ukusku, the apex of SACCOs in Uganda. You can reach me on 0772 660 205. That number is on WhatsApp, or 0702 660 205. And I know my email will be shared by the team. Thank you very much. It is a pleasure having you, and I wish you the best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Doctor. So for XENO Investments, we are located at Waters House on the first floor, and we are always happy and open every Monday to Friday to serve you in case you have any questions for us. We are going to be having monthly webinars. So this is the first for the year. This is January, and we'll have others coming up in Feb and the other months to come. So kindly follow us on social media. We're on LinkedIn, on Twitter. You can find us on our handle at XENO Uganda, and you're able to actually find us on Instagram, which is XENO Investments. So follow us for more updates and more details on how we can connect and for you to get more information on our upcoming webinars. But besides that, we are going to be holding monthly engagements with investment groups and institutions. So should you have an investment group that you would want XENO to come and have a chat with you in terms of how you can optimize your investment strategies, any topic to do with investments, we are very more than willing to partner with your investment group or institution to just help you grow and grow and grow this year in 2023. So we are looking at becoming your partners. But before we conclude this call, it would be nice for us to have a few takeaways from our guests today. So Martin, what are those last tips or takeaways that our participants should go with in regards to maybe summing up a few things that you want to share with them that can make their investment groups more optimal and more profitable?
Great, thank you. Fellow Ugandans, I think we have tried working alone, and clearly the results are very clear. So it is very important that we understand the power of numbers, the power of working together. Let's come together, join a savings group, join a SACCO, go join a multipurpose cooperative, join an investment club, join a ROSCA, Rotating Saving and Credit Association, join something where people are around you, and it is much easier and better to grow together than to grow alone. So if you have not yet joined an investment club, look for one. If you cannot find one, start one. Thank you very much.
Well, what more can I add, Martin? If you cannot join one, start one. So I think for all my friends and family, I'm coming for you. We need to start something. At least I'm picking something from this. I know I save and invest, but looks like it's always good to actually start something. If you find you're not a part of it and you have a group of friends, why not? At least we've learned how to set up an investment group or SACCO. So over to you, Doctor. What are those key takeaways for SACCOs? And what are those things that they can implement in 2023 to scale and grow even much better?
Yes, thank you. It is no longer an option for a member to join a SACCO or an investment club. Instead, it is a must, because we have seen that over the years, even here in Uganda, the emphasis has been, including from the government, policymakers, use of the cooperative business model, the use of the SACCO business model for members to come out of poverty. We can see the recent initiatives from the government where it is emphasizing on the MYOGA, on the parish development model. And then also we have seen in many, by the way, institutions. It is surprising that even in these high-paying institutions, I can just mention a few, URA, they have a SACCO. Go to US Embassy, they have a SACCO. Just working in many of these institutions, they are having SACCOs, which means that the only option that we have, which is, the only option that we have, which is a must, is for us to join a SACCO or an investment club for us to be able to improve on our welfare and our community welfare. Thank you.
Thank you so much, our guests that joined us today. That's Martin and Dr. Sylvester. We thank you so much for taking off the time. But I would like to also thank our wonderful audience. You stuck around from beginning to end. We really love you so much. Thank you for making time for this call. We believe that in future, we're going to partner more with you. We are here to educate you. Please visit our website, www.myxeno.com. We have a group page. Actually, you can just type www.myxeno.com/groups. You're going to get quite a lot of information. We are writing blogs every other day. Our communications team is always ensuring that we have enough information that we are sharing with you. So use XENO as your go-to website or platform to learn about investments. Remember, when we do this, we give the advisory for free. So you don't have to be a customer to benefit from our guidance or our knowledge and what we've researched, what we've done, what we've learned. And there are a couple of groups that have actually used XENO as their platform to plan, save, and invest. And we've seen a number of these groups actually growing from 0 to 50 million to 1 billion. And we've seen some of these setting up businesses that are actually successful. And we've been their partner. We are like their parking lots. They collect all this money, they invest it with us. Every time they get other alternative investments that are available for them to invest in, they actually are able to access this money. It grows every day and you have access. So than you to collect money, leave it on a bank account, we encourage you to actually invest it by setting up at least a unit trust fund with XENO or any other desired fund manager that you would want. Of course, we would want you to come and save with us. But yes, just ensure that all the savings you're collecting, they are not eroded by inflation. We need to invest these savings, and in future, we'll be much happier. So we request you to be our partners this year in 2023, and we believe we are going to learn a lot from you as you learn from us. And I would like to sign out and wish you a beautiful evening and see you next time.